you doing? How's your day going? What's on your mind? Are you on your way home? I don't have to, but I want to. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, world. Hello, world. Hello, world. Hi, Ann. We good, we good. Everything's good. I hope all is well with you. Did you get a chance to watch the members only video, Ann? I dropped the short members only video. Oh, okay, when you get a chance. How's everyone doing? What's going on? I've been scrolling and trolling. I've been scrolling and trolling the internet. Oh. Do y'all watch DDG and Haley Bailey? Thank you, Ann. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Do y'all watch that and what's going on with their custody issue, their custody battle? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. What's going on with their custody battle? And then there's a kid on TikTok who's going through a custody battle with his girlfriend. Is it more difficult for men to get custody or have a custody agreement with their baby's mom in 2025? Like, is that still an issue? Is that still an issue? Because I thought judges now and have an understanding that it's equal. Parenting is equal between the mother and the father. Although moms, I think in the system. Oh, you gave social media a break. Yeah, sometimes we got to do that. That's just been like what the narrative has been, like these men talking about, how they are struggling to get custody of their children or see their children fairly, that the mothers are automatically assumed to have the custody. But I really thought that was like, we know that's not really true. It's equal custody between the parents, I guess, unless you go to court and then you get it in, the paperwork of it. But we all need a mental break for ourselves and God. Oh my gosh, yeah. Social media. I wouldn't even look. I don't even want to look at my phone because our phones keep track of how much time you spend on apps and all of that stuff. Like, I'm scrolling and trolling on my phone all day long. Last night, or no, today, I like mentally, I was like, I put my phone down and I'm watching TV. Like, I can go days and never watch TV. which is why I got rid of cable and all of my, like, I got rid of cable. We were not watching cable, paying like $200 or $300, and nobody's watching TV. I cut all that shit off. So today I made myself turn my TV on and I watched 2 episodes of Little House on the Prairie. Ah! I watched 2 episodes of Little House on the Prairie. Like, some days you just gotta get away from social media. It's so true. So true. I mean, I stopped watching the news just because the news is very, you know how the news is. So, not watching the news, but then not watching just regular TV, you're back to like your phone. Sometimes the TV is watching me. I know. I need to get back to reading books. Just reading a book. And I bought a couple of like books over the summer, and then I got books because TikTok Shop has like a lot of authors drop their books over there. So I got a book coming that was given to me as a sample. But I got like now I got 3 books I should be reading. Just getting back to like that. The news is very depressing. The news is very depressing. But then I've been watching for my other channel, Psychology Eats, the backup channel. I was gonna do like commentary on like trending things that are going on. Hey Cheryl. So I got like 3 stories that I want to talk about, and one just happened where this kid unalived his parents. I think that was like a couple of days ago. Hit the like button. Thank you, Cheryl. That was a few days ago where this kid unalived his parents. And it's always like we see the ending of the situation, but we know like so much has happened prior to that. I'm sure there were issues with this kid prior to the unalivement of his parents. But somebody just called me. Somebody was asking me a couple of days ago about somebody they know. Hey, Canola. That somebody they know, a family member, he has schizophrenia and he's acting out. If you ever lived near or close to or have a family member who is schizophrenic and unmedicated, you know how difficult that is. And they were asking me like, what can we do? Like, what can this family do? This, you know, the brother is in the home and he's acting out, he's screaming, he's just being schizophrenic. And it's scary for the family and the parents, you know, they're a little older, they don't know what to do. And sadly, I told them, honestly, it ain't really a whole bunch you can do. So when your bipolar start acting up, I'm sure everybody be like, Ken, get out of here, please. And especially off medication. You know, it's the symptoms. But it's very hard for people to have to deal with. I put people in the hospital, like my clients, and I'll have them placed, you know, like they're acting out. The family has called me, you know, they're afraid of them. Okay, then the only thing you really can do is have them go call crisis and tell them that the person is a danger to themselves or others. That's the only way to get them in the hospital. And then once they're there, it'll, you know, in order for them to be involuntarily hospitalized, it depended on your state, but in my state, like 2 psychiatrists have to agree before that person is placed involuntarily. And that's only for a couple of days. They be right back out. It's sad, but it's really not a lot you can do. I know I used to like, we call them therapeutic lies, but I would tell my clients, my schizophrenic clients, Like if you don't take your medicine, if you don't get your shot, then you're not going to get your check. Because many people who are, have mental disorders receive disability like SSI or SSD. I tell them that shit all the time. You're not going to get your check. And it's not a total lie, because if they're not following up with psychiatry and making sure that, going into treatment, they can, when they come up for reevaluation for Social Security, they can lose their benefits. So it's not a lie, but it's a way to get them to stay connected to services, because they're hell to live with. It's horrible. I don't know if Peach is bipolar. I believe Peach has a personality disorder, which is more difficult to treat than being bipolar. Bipolar, honestly, is it's easy to treat if the person is willing to do treatment. The medications for bipolar is so much better. Even 30 years ago when I came into the field, back then people was drooling and shit, mouth dry as hell, uh, ticks and shit from the medication. The medication today is way better than that. Way better. So people with bipolar can live a normal life, and they do live a normal life. Now, sometimes your bipolar might get so bad that and oftentimes if their bipolar gets real bad, it's because they're stressing. They might be stressing over housing, stressing over relationship, stressing over money. Then that can trigger that bipolar to be real bad. And also can make your bipolar go into psychosis, where now you're bipolar and you're also hearing voices and you're hallucinating. So, bipolar, I don't believe Peach is bipolar. She might be. I think Peach is more of a personality disorder than anything. And although the trauma that she talks about, when we look at trauma and if you think about, like, somebody's been through a traumatic experience, you're thinking about DV, you're thinking about somebody's been raped, abused, like, you know what I mean? Hi, ML. I think sometimes she behaves bipolar because we see her when she's manic, then we see her depressed. But I think if I had to diagnose her based on what we see, I would say she has more of a personality disorder. But you can have multiple disorders now. Sybil had multiple personalities, which is a personality disorder. I really feel bad for her mom, but she needs to really take her to court and put her foot down. It's not gonna. It's not. It's really not. And that's why I say, like, Peach is a perfect example of where we are today with social media and people having the ability to out people in a broader way. It's really bullying. It's bullying. Hey, Janae, it's bullying. It's horrible. It's really horrible. It's like you tell somebody your most intimate secret, and now they go on the internet and they tell everybody. My daughter was just telling me that at her job, like, somebody was doing a sloppy toppy in the parking lot, and the dude is now sharing that with everybody at work. So now everybody know this girl done did a sloppy toppy in the parking lot. Like, come on now, yo. Peach is never going to change. She loves living in the past. She is miserable. AD, I agree with you. It benefits her. It benefits her. She gets a financial benefit, and because of her personality disorder, she feeds off of that. To me, in my opinion, she definitely borderline personality disorder and autistic. And autistic. I have PTSD. It's easy for me to deal with it. Went through a program at University of Memphis. You have to get treatment. Like Pete is trying to, and like a lot of other people, trying to self-diagnose and self-treat. And it don't work like that. It don't work like that. If you're a freaking cardiologist and you having a heart attack, you're not going to put your own stents in your heart. You're going to go to somebody to help you put the stents in your heart. She can't fix herself, and her and her mom are so much alike because Tracy say the same thing. I'm not going to therapy. I ain't sitting on nobody's couch. All right, then stay miserable. Then stay miserable. It's ridiculous. And then everybody got to listen to the shit. But it's a part of that is that they're getting a financial benefit from it. It's dangerous because although her family's not physically coming after her or attacking her, there are other families that are more fragile, and they not gonna put up with that bullshit. You ain't about to come on the internet and tell everybody that I got herpes and I'm gonna let you walk past me in Walmart. That ain't gonna happen. That shit is not gonna happen now. So it's dangerous in a way. It's ignorant. It's ignorant. Because even if you wanted to tell the stories, you didn't have to put nobody's name in it. You didn't have to. I could tell you a whole bunch of stories about people and never have to say their name or change their name. You want to hurt, not heal. You don't want to get better. You want to hurt, and it's not going to end well for you. It's not. Watch her. She triggers me. She triggers a lot of people. She's triggering a lot of people. But because of her personality disorder, she loves that shit. She loves it. You can see by that devious smile. That ridiculous smile. That smile says it all to me. All that smile is, that's it right there. Oh, okay. All right. All right, borderline. Okay, borderline. One day, one of Peach's cousins are going to give girl ML. I don't know how they been. They give her a lot of grace. They give her so much grace. But the world don't work like that. Like Ashley, hairdresser Ashley. Like that's what's really gonna happen. Like people don't have to put up with your shit. Bennett, she's also has too much pride to accept that she has problems and needs help. And Gorgeous is going to be the ones to tell it all. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're all gonna tell bits and pieces of it. You two mommies get stamps, deny children food and clothes, but buy and treat themselves. I couldn't do that. I mean, this is social media. Social media is shining a light on all of the dysfunctional families, moms, dads. Like, I know as me as a child, I've always been nosy. I've always wanted to know what was happening in people's houses, what was going on, what's this, what's that, what. So now it's like it's shining a light on it. People can't hide it. They don't want to hide it. And now they're turning on the live camera and we're watching everything that's going on in their houses where we wouldn't be able to do that before. And it's crazy. It's no shame, nothing. No shame, nothing. Whatever it is, it is. And everybody gets to watch it. Multiple personality and borderline personality disorder. It's a big difference. They're all, both of them. Well, we don't say multiple personality. They don't use that term anymore. But borderline personality, like the way we describe it in mental health, these people are really shit starters. Like they're problematic in so many ways, but their behaviors are based in childhood trauma. Oftentimes, many of them have been abused in horrific ways, and they become borderline people are like, they want to be your best friend, but they don't know how to maintain friendships. They're backstabbers. Like, if you have a borderline, if you're in a hospital unit, a borderline is going to start so much shit. I know in clinics that I've worked in, I wouldn't take borderline personality disorder. Once I determined that, I would, we all would. I had a supervisor. He was really good at working with borderline personality women. But let me tell you something. When he worked with them, he didn't close his door. They will accuse you of grape. They'll accuse you of things that never happened. They're very difficult to deal with. Very difficult. And it is based in, like I said, like you have to have the empathy for them because their personality was developed as a result of trauma. But I avoid working with them. All appearance, they're not social media doing stuff. Exactly. It's a lot that kids have to deal with. It is. Some people should never be parents. And they're mean. They're mean to children. They're awful to children. And children and youth are not going to always catch it. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. They return children. I worked with families that were touching each other. Everybody was touching. And children and youth took the children out, but our plan was to bring them all back together. And so we had to set up boundaries to keep everybody safe, but we brought them all back in, although they had been acting out on each other. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yes, happy hump day. So, y'all, you'll be surprised. If you don't work in the field, then it's a lot. People are tripped. The human mind is really fucked up. They don't want to work out, complain, oh, they have no money. And that's the funniest shit. Why do people get to the point where that's the first thing they say? I noticed that, like, with Miss Netta. Like, if you think of, like, other social media people, y'all hit this really nice lick. And it happened because of C-19. Because we were all in the house. Ain't nobody have shit to do. And C-19 had us all looking at our phones. And they were smart enough to start social media in a way that they grew. And so many of these people make very nice money that they don't have a skill set outside of social media to make that kind of money. They could never do it. They could never do it. But then the first thing they want to say, you broke bitch. It's like, girl. Thank you, Jay. Yes, mental health. I mean, y'all don't like even people like my clinics. Like I worked in clinic settings. There have been issues in clinic settings. Like the way I set my office up and the way I tell if I've been in positions as a supervisor, I always tell like you got to set your office up like this. You got to set it up so that if you got to escape your office, you might have to run out your office. You might get attacked. Anything can happen. Like when you think about therapy for a lot of people, like I know people in private practice, I would never do private practice where I'm somewhere, by myself without nobody else around but me and the client. A lot of my clients that I work for, because I always work in agencies we were strictly like Medicaid and Medicare. They coming out of prison with a prison bag coming to see me. I don't set the appointment up with the prison counselor and now they straight out of prison or straight out of rehab or living in the woods. Like therapy, people sometimes think of therapy is like this little cushiony job. It's not always like that. And oftentimes, our clients are, people are psychotic. They might come into treatment and they're psychotic. They think you the devil and you the therapist. They telling you the devil or the devil is standing behind you or all kind. Oh my God, all kinds of stuff. One of my co-workers, she was kidnapped. We were working in a group home, and this was before I was a therapist. So I was just a group home worker, And we were working, and she went to go take the one client somewhere, and the client pulled a knife on her. She was missing for hours. I was like, where the fuck is she? At gun, and she was at knife point kidnapped. We mental health, they go through it. They go through it. I've had psychiatrists that had guns pulled out on them, knives pulled out on them, attacked, because now we dealing with people with addiction, and they're coming in for treatment, but they want Xannies, and now you don't want to give them those Xannies. They want to tweak out, and we had got to the point in a clinic that I worked in. We was like, we need security in this motherfucker. We need security in the inner city in Philly. They need therapists so bad. Now for me to get to Philly is probably like an hour. They was willing to pay $100. We don't make that. If I'm working for an agency, they're gonna get, if the insurance is paying 120, I'm not gonna make 120 an hour because I gotta split with the agency. But whatever. So these agencies was willing to pay like all this money for us to come out there and do therapy and even provide transportation. Ain't that some shit? But then I was like, I don't think I'm with all that. If y'all know Philly, and if y'all know Kensington, Kensington is the drop off for addicts. Addicts. Nah, like this ain't, people think of therapy like this cushiony job. You know, you got a little office and you know your clients come in. Girl, bye. Uh-uh. And then that's outpatient. Try doing in the hospital where people are psychotic, people are addicts and bipolar, and now you in a hospital setting. You know how many times nurses and doctors, psychiatrists get fucked up in the hospital? Every day. Every day. It ain't no cushiony type shit. It's not. It's really not. That's one of the reasons why, even with like my last clinic that I was at, and they had no, like, I'm opening the clinic, I'm closing the clinic. A lot of times I'm in the clinic by myself. Right? I'm in the clinic by myself because no other therapist, just me. You know, I'm letting clients in, I'm letting clients out. Come on, that's not safe. That's not safe. My husband used to be so mad. He was like, I just rode past your clinic. Ain't nobody car out there but yours and another one. I said, oh, yeah, I'm here by myself. No. Mm-mm. It's not no cushiony job, y'all. I tell you. That's why I'm retired. Kind of, sort of. That's why I teach. I knew it was time for me to, like, get out of the environment because I was thinking too much about what could happen. When I was younger, I ain't think about none of that. I go in the clinic, I open the clinic, I go back to the clinic, I go in the clinic in the middle of the night, I go in the clinic. I do whatever. Like now, I think too much about now. Hell no, this could happen, that could happen. Girl, you better think about your safety. It's not worth it. That's why I don't do it. I teach. I teach up and coming. Oh, you want? Oh, you think you want to go into psychology? Okay, I'll teach you about it. Nah. But as far as, you can't make anybody go into treatment. If they don't want a treatment, they're not going to do it. You cannot make anybody go into treatment. Period. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't force people into treatment. So if you got a family member and you know that they're sick and they're acting out, it's really not a lot you can do. And we have to, in a way, it has to be that way because imagine if you could just, what happened was husbands had the right to, the husband could tell a wife that you crazy and now you going in the hospital. And he had the right to put his wife in the hospital in insane asylums back in the day. And so, in order to protect people, now there's a procedure in place where, as a family member, I just can't get my family member, um, I just can't get them to go in the hospital. I can't get them admitted into the hospital. There are procedures in place, and we need that. But at the same time, it hinders people from getting the help that they need. And they really fucked up when they let kids at the age of 14 can make their own mental health decisions. They fucked it up when they did that. At your first therapy session is an intake appointment. The only thing they're going to be doing is just asking you about your history, family history, medical history. That's it. That's your first session. Usually, that's your first session. It's just a background check. Just background. CPS workers too have to walk into houses not knowing what is going on. Oh, they really at risk. Oh, they really at risk. Especially if they're going into a house to remove the children. Now, in most states, if they know they're going to remove the children, they can go with a police escort. That's why they grab the kids from school, because it's safer to do it that way. Because too many CPS workers have been unalived going into the home to remove the children. So that's why they grab the kids at school. Yep. That's why when we like look at the Peach situation, as many times as they've been out to her house, um, it's gonna be because you got to get a judge's order to even do all that. But to remove the kids, you need a judge's order to do that, and that ain't hard to get because the CPS workers just tell the judge this, that, and the third has happened. We've been out to the house. Da, 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 da. Next thing you know, they got the order, and now they're gonna go to the school to grab the kids. And then I think they have 48 hours to the parents can see the kids within 48 hours or something like that. But CPS, yeah, they go into really, they don't know what they walking into. They don't. Did you see that CPS worker had that little baby in the car and forgot about him, and the baby don't died? The baby died in the car of heat. So I guess the CPS worker was a young person, younger. She went and picked the baby up from point A, and she was supposed to take the baby back to point B, which maybe was a foster home. Yeah, the baby was coming from a visit with the family. And then okay, so she put the baby in the car, and now she's supposed to take the baby back to the foster home. Her brain started thinking about something else. She done drove somewhere and left the baby in the car for 5 hours. Baby gone. Now she going to jail. She's gonna get neglect charges. Child. Yep. Probably lose all her clearances. Never to work with children again. That's a whole mess. A whole mess. You are a professional. I've been in the field for a long time, and I've been in this field for a very long time. I've never worked for a county. I worked for a county, Essex County, for one day, and I quit because I knew I wasn't going to be a county worker. I just could not see myself doing that for 30 years. I ain't like the way they talked about people I told the story before. I was in we were doing orientation, and I ain't like the way they was talking about people. And this was in Newark, New Jersey, and the supervisor was a white man, and of course all the clients were black. We're in Newark, and I ain't like the way he was referring to the very clients that make sure he get a paycheck. So when we had lunch break, I just never came back. And they called me, we got your name tag and stuff ready, bitch. Girl, I'm not coming back. I ain't feeling it. I ain't feeling you. I ain't feeling that. I ain't feeling none of it. Nope. It's not. Mm-mm. And getting your kids taken into children and youth, ugh, that's a battle. That is a battle. It's a battle to get them back. It's not easy. It's just not easy. It's the system is, of course, is prejudice and so many assumptions about people that are made. It's almost like I work with this. I was doing like orientations for new foster parents, foster people who want to go in foster care. So I was talking to someone. We were on a panel, and this lady was a retired CPS worker, and she said for many years, white lady, she said I was so ignorant. You know, she said I will remove children from the projects and then place them with a family in the suburbs, and I couldn't understand why the children were so depressed and unhappy. In her head, she said, I felt like I was taking them to a better place. Why are they so unhappy? The disconnect of her not understanding about family connection. That you took them from their family. I don't care where you put them. You took them from the only people that they know. Their connection to their family. They're biologically connected to these people. It's traumatic for children to be removed from their home. It took her 20 years to realize that shit. How did you cope with the stress when you were in the field? Is there therapy for therapists? There is. We have what we call like supervision. So every week or every 2 weeks or whatever, but I think it's usually my supervisions was every week or so with your supervisor, and you would just talk about it's talking about your cases and what you're dealing with and how you're help somebody to help you process, are you working with these people in the right direction, da 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 da. It's not really about, oh, I'm going through this shit in my own personal life. It's not that's not really what it is. If you need that, then you need to have your own therapist. So I've only been to therapy one time, and that's when I was a runaway teenager. Um, and I tell this story to my students when I talk about, my how I ended up being in therapy, how I ended up coming into working in the mental health and all of that. And but as far as care, like me in therapy myself as an adult, never. But I had one therapy session as a teenager after I had ran away. And then I came back home, and my parents said, "You going to therapy? You going to see a doctor?" And that's how I got really introduced into therapy, because I was like, "Damn, I like what he's doing. He talking to you, da da da." And it was crazy because that doctor that I saw, he's a psychologist of a clinic where I live, where I grew up at. And years later, I was at a conference, and he was the keynote speaker. And afterwards, I talked to him, and I was like, I know you don't remember because I only saw you one time, but really coming in to see you and processing like what I was going through as a teenager, I'm now in the field. And he was like, wow, that's so, I'm glad that I could be a part of your journey. Because he really was. Her and seeing in psychology, you feel, I know it's traumatizing. It's not really so much traumatizing to me because I don't take it on like that. And I have heard a lot of horrible things working in this field, but I don't really like take it in, absorb it like that, because you couldn't. It's like doctors and nurses. They don't go home and fall apart because of, in most cases. Now, some people do deal with what they're dealing with in the wrong ways. Like, correctional officers, police officers. There's a high number of them that have alcohol abuse, drug abuse because of them, what they see in the field. But for me, that's never, that's really probably never been an issue. One, because of supervision and because of being able to talk to, somebody, a supervisor. We also do group supervision, where now it's like two or three or four therapists, and we're all talking, processing, about what has happened and what our caseload is like, what are we dealing with. That helps. That helps a lot, because you got to watch that. You don't want to start to develop what we call transference, where you starting to really like, and I've had to like call therapists on that shit. Like you're developing like this personal relationship with your client, and it's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. Like, we don't exchange personal phone numbers with our clients. They shouldn't know our personal business. Like in my office, when I don't have an office now because I'm not doing therapy, but I never hung up pictures of my family. Like, never. I never discuss my family with my clients. Because if I'm telling you about my family, then I'm wasting your time. You're here to tell me about your family. We can't use our clients as our own therapists. That's not fair to them. So you have to be, it ain't like you being cold or you don't want nobody to know your business. It's just inappropriate. You can't do that. That's a good way to cope with it. You right, you can't. Like, you can't. I know when I teach, when I lecture on therapy and what that should look like, and I talk to, up and coming clinicians, like, that's the one thing that we talk about heavy is not developing these inappropriate relationships with your clients. I've had to report a therapist, a couple of therapists that was having sexual relationships with their clients. And although that's not a crime, it's unethical. And you it's unethical, and it's not even it's unethical, it's not a crime, but it's difficult to get them out of the field. It's difficult to get them out of the field because they can just quit a job and just go somewhere else. And then unless you really, really, really follow up with it, but I've had to deal with that a few times. And that was with a male, and actually it was two female um, mental health workers that was having sexual relationships with, and they weren't minors. So, but it's inappropriate. Is it true that a patient does all the talking during the sessions? Therapy only asks one or two questions. That's the way it should be. I tell therapists that you should, if you in there yapping, you talking too much. Now, you should definitely be giving feedback and engaging, but you shouldn't be the one yapping. Like I've been yapping right now. No, if I was in a therapy session, you gonna barely hear me talk. I'ma talk, but if I may need to lead with an open-ended question, that type of thing. But just in there yapping, nah. The client should be doing most of the talking. You like these pine plants? There's a bar right on the other side of this. Yeah, so if somebody fall through them pants, they might be a little intoxicated. But no, the client should definitely be talking. And another thing that is happens in therapy, and some therapists get uncomfortable with silence. I've had many sessions where the client is quiet, barely talking, and maybe sobbing. And you don't always need to fill that in with chatter. Let them go. Let them cry. Let it flow. Let it flow, honey. Let it flow. So that's the way it is. I recommend therapy to everybody and anybody, especially if you got some things to talk about. As I tell you, tell your secrets to God and tell your secrets to a therapist, because neither one of them are going to repeat nothing you say. I promise you, if you tell somebody else, they're gonna tell at least one other person. Your therapist is not, hi, hi, just me. Um, your therapist is not going to repeat nothing you got to say to anybody that you've been talking about. They're not. They are not. We are able to do our jobs and go home and not talk about our clients. I know I don't. I know I don't. Never did. If I'm going to talk about a client, it's because I'm processing how I'm working with them with another professional, and that's usually in supervision. But I'm not going to my friends talking about, yeah, girl, I had a client today. No, hell no. Mm-mm. I don't know any therapists that really do that. Nah, we don't do that. No, we don't do that shit. That's why the whole thing of with Catholics, if anybody is Catholic, and confessions, and how they will go into the confessional and tell the priest, like basically what's going on in their life. That really is a form of therapy. The priest is allegedly not telling nobody your business. But that's a form of therapy. That's what you think about when you do therapy. You know that you could say whatever you want in therapy and it's not going to be repeated. Unless you say you want to hurt somebody or yourself. And then we got to, we going to have to deal with that. But it's still not like I'm just going to be calling your mom. She was talking about you today type shit. No. No. That's why you can tell your therapist all your deep, dark secrets, all of your inappropriate thoughts. Well, you may think they're inappropriate thoughts that you're having. Could you expect from therapists? You should expect that your therapist is going to be professional, meaning, you got a 2 o'clock appointment, your therapist is going to be there. Now, sometimes therapists may run overtime, but therapists are going to be professional. That it's a business too. At the end of the day, you're going to know how much it costs. All of that. We do all that in the first day, the intake. Um, yeah. But not every therapist is not for everybody. You might get a therapist and you don't vibe with them, and it's okay. It's okay. You can if you're not comfortable. I hate him in his car. Anyway, if you're not comfortable with the therapist, then you can call the secretary. You can send them an email, just say, I've decided to go in another direction. Anything like that. And therapists should not be offended by that. And it's okay. You're not going to vibe with everybody. But yeah, I recommend therapy, family therapy. But like I was saying, like when in the case of like Peach and her mom, I wouldn't put them in a family therapy session They would have to meet separately for multiple weeks and then maybe bring them together with some real with ground rules. Like, these are the ground rules. This is how this is gonna work. But but it's hard to do, especially because I told you I think Peach got a personality disorder, and that's difficult. That's just because she'll sabotage everything. And who knows, maybe her mom does too. I don't know. But it's just wild the way, people can just tell your business at a bigger scale than like this. And for adults, we can process it better. But kids, it's hard for them to process something like that, especially if they're being dragged. That's why with bullying, kids, we see kids that take their life because they're being bullied in such a bigger way than they've ever been before. To be bullied and like thousands of kids your age know what these people are saying about you and making fun of you, and now you're trying to live your life like that? Hell no. Kids can't process that. They don't see tomorrow is going to get better, or when I get older none of the shit they say is going to matter. Like, they don't see that. Because what, in my opinion, what, exposing your parent and your other family members' trauma is bullying. And if somebody was to hurt themselves or do something in that way, should she be held responsible for that? Some judges would say, yeah. Some prosecutors would be like, you know what? I'm going to charge you with this shit. Plus, had it not been for you going on the internet and telling the world that this person had a venereal disease, then she wouldn't have been so embarrassed that she unalived herself. And so now we're going to charge you for that. That's real talk. Like, that's really can happen. You don't know how somebody going to process that. What did I do to you that was so fucked up that you going to tell the whole world that I got herpes? How dare you? No. Mm-mm. Some people can handle that. Some people can manage that. Or telling somebody, like, come on now. Now, let's not forget, like, even with her mom, like, she got a job. You got co-workers. Come on. Mm-mm. Could you imagine? And now you got to go to work and you know they know. You know that they watch it. Come on. I've seen some people in a lot of people's lives, like, she need to go to court. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, it has happened. Many content creators, they've been taking each other to court, like, back and forth. It's too easy to click off and stop talking about somebody. If you talking to somebody and it don't got that bad, it's just stop. Especially if you ain't making no damn money. They fighting and ain't nobody even making no money. Like, now you just being nasty to each other. Now you just want to be mean to each other. Mm-mm. No, it's not that serious. It is not that serious. They give her way more grace than I would give. Y'all got a bug in the car. They can blast her into space if they want. Nika, girl, she'll be up in the stars fucking with me. Mm. I don't get it. I'm telling you, if I came on here right now and start running down on my cousins and my aunties, they're going to beat my ass. Y'all know I can't fight. They're going to beat my ass. It is going to be no saving me. They're going to kick my butt. It ain't going to be no saving me. It just ain't going to be no saving me. I don't get it. I don't get it. I swear I don't get it. And like everybody saying, like, we ain't trying to say we want violence. It's like human nature. Child, we from Jersey. Girl, they dragging us all up and down the city streets, the country streets, out in the ocean. Like, it's going down. This going down. They jumping me. Like, all of it. I mean, all of it. If they caught me in church, they're going to beat me there. I'm going to get beat. I'm going to get beat up. Let me try it. Try it. Try it. I don't understand. Mm-mm. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't. All right, if you don't want to go that way, then let's go to court. But this shit got to stop. You gonna stop bringing up my business? Even if you're gonna talk about me, don't use my name, man. I mean, this bitch be giving details. My Aunt Nika, yeah, my mom's sister, y'all. She the one that got the girl. Who the hell? What the hell, What the hell, Beyonce? I mean, full details. Full details. I don't know how they do it. I don't know. Maybe they ordained. I don't know. I don't know. They special. Cause it could be no way. Oh, my cousins will whoop my ass. Mm, 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 mm. Shanika and them will be, girl, I would be beat up. Beat up. My cousins was going to beat me up at the skating ring because I started talking to somebody that they didn't like at the skating ring. I go in the bathroom. My four cousins in there ready to beat my ass. Why you talking to her? What? That's my friend. Nope, she ain't your friend no more. We don't like her. Now you don't like her. They was about to drag my ass all over that skating ring. It's just gonna beat my ass. And all I did was talk to the ops. Imagine if I came on here. Girl, bye. Shit. I don't know. That's why she do it. But you know what? I blame the adults of that family too, because y'all obviously was talking too much around kids. Just like Tracy was in her live the other day, and I got this off of Peach Live, but somebody had took her part of her live, and she was talking, but her grandkids was in the room, and she said, "Excuse me, y'all, I'm about to cuss." But the conversation that she was having was not child appropriate. Like, you shouldn't have been talking about none of that in front of the kids. That's how she fucked up with Peach. She know too much, and you knew it at a time where you shouldn't have never known that. You shouldn't have never known it. And then you so worried about, what happened in your bathroom, but now your little boys come in your bathroom, you booty ball naked in the bathroom, and now these kids looking at your ass. Is that appropriate? You know what I'm saying? Like, you so worried about that shit. But, did you traumatize your son when he had trying to figure out why your booty looked like that? Why your booty look like that? What? So he stood there long enough to look at all your dimples and wrinkles and crinkles, and the baby knew that ain't the average ass. Why your duty look like that? And all you did was get what? And you videotaped that shit too and let that shit go out into the world. Why your booty look like that? Face ass. Girl! I hollered. Child, what did the survey say? Because I don't know if it was wonderful, amazing. Because y'all know I don't know the kids apart. I don't know them apart. So I don't know. Was that the one with uh, his brain didn't all the way develop, or was that phenomenal? Does phenomenal talk yet? All I know is he stared long enough because you know he came in and said he said that first before she recorded it. What you say? So now you still there naked, and the little boy don't ask you why your booty look like that. Get your ass out my car! Ah! Okay, y'all, he gone. It was I'm off. Why your booty look like that? And you think that's cute? He gonna have a story to tell. He gonna be in therapist's office. Oh, I saw my mom's wrinkly, dimply ass. Girl, if he would have said, but somebody said that one of the kids came in the bathroom and said, "Why your bath water dirty?" Ah, woo! Why do bath water dirty, girl? You can't make that shit up. Not why do bath water dirty. After she don't put Fabuloso dish detergent, peas, ham hocks, oranges, apples, broccoli, General Tso's chicken in her bath water. Hi, LaKenya. After she don't put all that in the bath water, and now she want to get in the tub. Now let me just say this. Now, if y'all ever been traumatized or going through a traumatic situation, the thing that traumatized you is what you avoid. So if I have been traumatized in a bathtub, guess what I'm not gonna fuck with? Bathtubs. Yeah. Jasmine, her daughter talks like she's two. Oh yeah, they all got speech impediments. Well, we learn our cadence. Is it cadence, y'all? From our parents. So, the dialogue and how we speak, and we learn that. So, Wood is a mumbler, so they mumble. Peach only tries to speak correctly when she's acting like the white girl, Peach. I think it was gorgeous to ask her about the water. Rabbit feet, celery, pickles, raisins, peanuts, like all that, ham hocks, all that. And that's why her booty looked like that. Why your booty? Collard greens, mashed potatoes, and then had the nerve to turn on the jets. Now you know she putting them jets right up her ass. Everything is sexual. That's why she in there. Them jets. You know why people use them jets. Pinto beans, black eyed peas, French fries. You name it. Be in that tub. Girl, when Wood got in there and cocked his legs open, I said, this ain't shit. This ain't shit. All that shit come to a bullshit. I ain't never seen such a thing, but I'm just, from my point of view, when I think of people who tell me that they've been through traumatic experiences, it takes smoked neck bones, smoked ham hocks. It takes years for them to be able to touch and deal with the very thing that caused them trauma. But you want to soak in a tub that you deliberately make fucking dirty. You deliberately make the shit dirty by adding a bunch of bullshit in it. Girl, bye. I don't think Wood is hitting her like he can. Wood, I think it's not enough for her because she's so overly sexualized, because she's so borderline, and that's all they want to do is fuck. So he do it enough. He do it enough. You can hardly hear me. You know why? Because I had to plug. My phone was dying. Hold on. Let me turn it up. Edwin. Can you hear me now? I had to turn my car on. My phone was dying. He's over sexualized too, because you know he kind of slow. Borderline personality disorder. You know he kind of slow. You know how, child. Yeah, they be humping. They hump. They hump. They overly hump. They humpers. They hump these. That's her condition, in my opinion. That she has a personality disorder. He do sign language. He mumbles. You know, he's a mumbler. Yeah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. They be in there doing it. They do it a lot. I think they both. I think they do it a lot. I think they're both overly sexualized. Because who would have time to be humping with all high lovely with all them kids? I think they hump. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Is this better? I can't keep it like this because my phone is dying. Is this better? Yeah, they hump a lot. I think they hump. Oh, they stay humping. Yeah, like you know, he's like, he's kind of slow. You know, he's slow. So yeah, they hump. Oh, they hump hump. She's over sexualized, and we know where she get that from. Joe, don't get me to lie. I mean, her mom is always talking about how her husband parked his big black truck in her garage. They hump. They hunchers. The hunching family. So she can't even help herself. That's why when he ain't hunching her, she in there letting them jets hunch her. Why she sit in that tub and turn them jets on? You know what them jets is doing. Jet, oh God. And remember how we all fell out when we finally saw the pictures of the braider? Girl, I thought I was about to see something. I saw, okay, well, I mean, let me see what she looked like. And since he like her, child. Yeah, Tracy is a sexologist. Tracy loves talking about sex. And she doesn't care who's in the room. She get hot and bothered just bringing it up, baby. She love it. You know that man ain't doing all that. You know when these men get over 50 and they black men and they don't be eating all them everything that Peach put in that tub and it brings down their whole sexual urge from all that diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Man ain't doing all that. Now he might still be using his mouth, bless his little heart, and probably something else to help him out. Cause she's so sexualized, he gotta please her or she'll find somebody else. They got a hunch. They got to hunch. You hear me? They got to hunch, honey. Child. Like a teenager. Remember back in the day when we was a teenager? Now you know when we was a teenager, we was might be a little bit on the hunchy side. That's natural. That's nature. But baby, after 9 kids, you would think it'll be traumatizing. Like, I can't keep hunching like this. I might get pregnant. Not her. Not her. I moved the phone closer to me, y'all, because y'all see where I'm at. I ain't want y'all to see that I was at McDonald's. Ah, I'm busted. Look, y'all. I'm busted again. It is a bar on the other side there, y'all. But I ain't want y'all to see this. Because I was just at Chick-fil-A yesterday. Oh, God, y'all know what I don't like to do is eat bullshit. Y'all know I'm addicted to French fries. Damn it. Ah, shit. Girl, you ain't know I was at McDonald's. No, you didn't, Nick. I could have been anywhere. I could have been anywhere. I said, let me put the phone like this so they can't see the McDonald's sign. God damn it. And I always want to be in stall number 1, too. I'm always in stall 1 or stall 3. When she was in his shop on Friday, instead of being happy, he was home. She was mad he wasn't in bed. Yeah, she just want to hump. She loves it. Hunch, 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 hunch. If she could hunch all day, she would. Would need a CPAP machine immediately. Wood need a CPAP machine. That shit ain't fine. I'm like, Wood, you need a CPAP machine. All that heavy snoring. I think too, her mindset is that if I keep hunching him, then he's not going to hunch nobody else. If I drain him, then he ain't going to be looking to hunch on somebody else right away. Turns every conversation into sex. She's very sexually, and that's another thing. We find that women who or children, kids who have been assaulted as children, the girls either grow up one or two ways. They either overly sexualized or they don't never want nobody to touch them ever in life. And Tracy is over sexualized. Now y'all know we got to be careful because my man Ed might come in here and then we got to shut the fuck up talking about his family. They don't like that. Child, please. She would completely fall apart. That is going to happen. He ain't loyal. If he Because he was ready to leave when that YouTuber was setting him up a few years ago. He was ready to throw it all away then. He was ready to throw it. If he found somebody else, he would leave. I don't know what happened to my Ed. His channel was going to do good. Him and his daddy was talking. His daddy talked with good sense. He keep Ed on track. I don't know. He just stopped. Ed was in here last night. He might be listening now. Hey, Ed. Ed could have a good channel. I mean, he could, if that money stops, I think he out. I think he would be out. I think he would be out if he could be comfortable with somebody else. Like they make enough money to pay bill. Like he could comfortably. He could be out. He could be out. And that's when you'll see him go back to work, doing everything that she ever wanted him to do. If he ever left, her whole world would be destroyed. Gone. Gone. Can you imagine your whole life depended on one person? And we all know how human nature is. People will stab you in the back in a hot fucking second. Child, please. And let many when he sat there and let that girl almost hit her upside the head with a piece of jerk chicken, I knew he wasn't shit. He would be a man. What, Nika? He would. Probably be over there just doing the most. And there are women that would take him in and love on him and be his partner. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, child support ain't gonna get but so much out of him. He gonna get a little job. They ain't gonna get what they gonna get 10%. And if this lady is working and that girl be she'll be done up. And then she would need her mom. And Tracy will be there for her. I'm telling you, he will leave. Was there when Ashley gave her, he was. And he was like, stop, stop. Yes, he was right there when Ashley two-pieced her. Called Peach hoes and bitches. Peach used to want. I think she did though, classy. I think she did. I think she talked rough to her. I think she did. I can see. After I saw her whoop them two studs, and after I saw her cuss my Ed out on live, and cuss and disrespect Ed in front of her own mother, she did. She said it. She said it. I think she said it. I think she definitely said it. I think she called her them names. And I think if she just says, like, yeah, I used to talk like that to my kids because I was ignorant. Just say that. Just say that. Damn. I believe it's classy because I heard Tracy call Ed all kinds of bitches. Yes, she said it. A lie in the tub stuff. Like, girl. Yeah, Classy, yes. You missed that live. It was a live. Ed was drunk. Now, Ed, if you in here, don't click off. Because we about to talk about you. Ed was drunk, right? And they was all at Tracy house. Ed kept being obnoxious. Tracy got sick of his ass and cussed him out. Her mom was there. She was trying to calm Tracy down. Tracy was going ballistic on my Ed. Yep, yep. Ed has tried. I thought Ed was gonna tell us more once he moved out of Tracy house. Hey Ed, if you in here. Um, but nah. And they look. I don't know. I don't know. Understanding. Those of us from New Jersey. We have no understanding of this dynamic. We don't get it because we know our families would have beat us within an inch of our life. Like we don't understand. Ah, we would have got beat up at church. Yeah. First of all, the pastor would have ripped us at church on the pew. That's first. We would have got it there. Like we would have been told off at church, and then after church, maybe a beat down. Yeah, that's how it happens. Maybe it's Florida. I don't know. It could never happen in New Jersey. It happened at a party at Tracy house. She cussed Ed out bad and then deleted the video. Yeah. Yes, she did. Yeah, she talked that. I honestly believe that. I believe that she did call her bitches and sassy and hoe and retard. I believe it. I believe it. Imagine if Tracy ever got her hands around me, what the shit would come out. She would, child. She want Loretta real bad. Ain't gonna have the nerve to ask Loretta, you want to meet up for lunch. Loretta said, what, to get my ass beat? Because that's what's gonna happen. Ah! Girl, bye. She the she want Loretta out of all of us. She want Loretta bad because I don't think she understand what's going on TikTok. TikTok girl, they tearing her up over. They tearing them all up on TikTok. New Jersey, New York, or PA. No, the tri-state area. Let's add Delaware in there too. Loretta knows. She's entwined in the family. Honestly, but Loretta never really told us a lot of details about that until Tracy started getting acting up. Until Tracy started really like saying, you're lying. And then she showed the receipts. Like, girl, girl. I don't think Loretta be do getting stories mixed up, but I don't think she's lying about some of the details that she know. I don't think she lying about the details. I just be trying to pick out like, damn, for real, that happened. Or, ooh, you related, like that shit like that. But the whole funeral with Pete the Meat and all that was a mess. That was a fucking mess. The whole Pete the Meat stuff was a mess. Poor Pete. She was Pete. She was the grandma's neighbor. Pete like she knows the other baby's mama. Like that's not a lie. She never. It's too detailed for that. I don't think that Rasta knew her. Y'all, my phone about to die, and I can't even get this to stay plugged in. Hold on, y'all. I don't think Rasta knew her. I don't think she recognizes her and remembers her from back in the day. She's probably found out since then because she's probably just asked around and asked people. But, child, that old Tampa mess is a mess. But I think she knew him. Loretta don't talk to them sisters. She be lying. Girl, I don't know. I don't know. Child, it ain't worth lying about. I tell you that, child. We got enough to talk about without even making shit up. We got enough to talk about, and don't nobody need to make up nothing. You know what I mean? Because it's enough to talk about based on what we see and what we know. I would just hope that y'all think I should try to get Ed to come on my channel. I open up StreamYard and get Ed. What should I ask him though, y'all? Ed, get off the line if you listening, because we trying to figure out what we gonna ask you if you ever, if I do a StreamYard and I open it up, open the panel up and let you come on the panel. We gotta figure out what we gonna ask Ed. We can't go too. We can't. We can't ask him like the real shit we want to know. We gotta ease into the shit. We gotta ease into it, y'all. Oh yeah, no, no, no. I'm never gonna ask him to turn on his mother. Hell no. I wouldn't do that. You want to know why he moved out? What in the hell? Going out of my. We want to know why he moved out. How's he feel about what's going on? I don't think she was around there because it was the dad's side that she knew and him. And Tracy not together long after. That's true. That's true. I believe most of what she's saying about what happened back then. But y'all, I'm gonna work on Ed. That's hopefully he ain't listening right now. But Ed don't have no email, y'all. That's why it's hard for me to reach out to him. But we gotta work on Ed coming on the channel. I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna go live on StreamYard. That way, when I go live on StreamYard, he could come up. Like on live on YouTube, you can't bring people up. We ain't gonna ask him nothing mean about his mama. Y'all know I'm scared of Tracy. You think I'm trying to get beat up? Girl, could you imagine just me? She might, because you don't really be going that hard on them. She might. I just don't want Ed to go. If Ed come on my live, he can't be around Tracy. I want him to be at his apartment. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, I gotta go. My phone is about to die. Not Loretta was a dope head. I know she told us all about her dope days. No, y'all know Grandma hate me. Y'all know, y'all just want to see me get cussed out. But I'd rather get cussed out than beat up. So I might have to take one for the team. Grandma, I might have to take one for the team. I'm gonna be flirting with the dad though. Y'all know I think the dad is cute. All right, y'all, let me work on it behind the scenes. Ed, if you listening, you already know what it is. Big baby want to see you on my panel. All right, y'all. Good night. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for the hearts. Thanks for the likes. Thanks. See y'all in the next live. Bye.